guess from a podcast called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thursday Want to Talk to You," and I think and I said, you don't have to tell me what it's about. I said, if it's called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," you definitely don't need to tell me what it's about, and I'm going on. This is what I want to do.
It's a Seinfeld podcast. It's called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty." But I thought, this is what a podcast should be.
I just did the Seinfeld guys pod the other day. It came up.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh,
that one. Shout out. We've done it. I've done it. Have you did it?
I've not gotten a chance to do it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. They're so fun.
When I don't know, it must have shown up in my feed, but I see these guys tweeting about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find it's a podcast called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty."
One of the most popular Seinfeld podcasts is "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," co-hosted by Chris O'Hara and Tony Chula.
Welcome to "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of 2 Up and 2 Down. And today we got The Cafe from season 3. Should be a good one. So, Chris, start us off. What do you got for your first up?
Indeed, The Cafe, November 6th of 1991. 16.4 million people watched this. Obviously, it was on a Wednesday night. Friend of the show, Tom Leopold, penned this episode. We had an incredible conversation with him. And also with the star of this show, Babu. So we have a lot of insights into this show. Again, we're analyzing it kind of with that in mind and also what we saw live. So that night, what was on that night back in November of 91? A TV movie was on ABC called False Arrest. And then on CBS, Jerry's old nemesis, Jake and the Fat Man, was up against Seinfeld. So here we go. 2 positives, 2 negatives. Since we're doing this live, folks, we're not sharing notes, so should be a fun one due to the history we have from the people partaking on this one. So here we go. A lot of ups here. I'm going to start. Again, we can go broad, but I'm going to start with the one of the first scenes at Babu's, the whole statute of limitations scene. You guys know where I'm going here. It's when the big 3, not George, Kramer, Elaine, and Jerry, are all at Babu's. Elaine comes in, why don't you order something? And they're kind of having a nice little dynamic there, sitting at the same table. And then obviously Elaine gets up, she's annoyed. And then the K-Man walks in. I mean, talk about, this is the neighborhood, right? I know no one goes there, but it's just a familiarity. You kind of pop in. Kramer, they all knew Jerry was there. And then Kramer was almost like a 7-year-old, right? The way he was just asking questions and annoying Elaine. Are you sure? Going right up there. I mean, incredible scene. And then obviously, I think that scene ends where obviously, the coffee goes everywhere. Kramer flips over. What a scene. And it's 60 seconds. And I think it ends with Elaine finally leaves, right, in that scene. And Babu gives the famous line, "Tell your friends." Just what a bow. What a bow by Leopold or Larry David there to kind of wrap up that jam-packed scene. So that scene's my first one up.
Yeah, a terrific scene. So definitely worthy of an up mention. Tony, over to you. Your first up, please.
Yeah, I wrote it down almost exactly verbatim what you said. Kramer asking the questions. Unbelievable how he does that. I mean, if you want to talk, like you just said it, you get everything from Kramer in this. You get he's just kind of coming in, like you said with Jerry, and then the needling of Elaine, and then the physical comedy with the towel. I mean, he does it all. It's unbelievable. Yeah, listen, friend of the show, Leopold, and friend of the show, Babu. We'll get to it. But I mean, folks, we say this all the time. If you watch us, friend of the show, friend of the show, friend of the show. You name an episode, we talk to somebody, at least one or mostly 2 or 3. Yeah, The Cafe. I mean, where to start? O'Hara picked a good one. I'm going to have to go with probably, for me, one of, if not well, the full message is probably one. But very far right next to it is The Cafe is probably number 2 as far as, early George moments for me where I was like, wow, we're watching this live. Cafe is only, we're not too far into season 3. So, you're talking episode 24. So we've only seen less than 25 episodes of the series, and George gets caught red-handed. But this is before the red dot, the paper's in her hand. It's stained. What's this? I went to the grocery. I had a cup of coffee. Where'd you get the coffee? Where did you get the coffee? The grocery store. But I didn't see her at the door. The door? Why would I use the door? The window's right here. I mean, when he said that line, it was it for me. I was hook, line, and sinker on Seinfeld, on George, and everything else. Why would I use the door? The window's right here. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I had a sandwich, a cup of coffee, just played it cool. Nothing wrong with this. And then she's like, "You're a fascinating man, George Costanza." That might have been a little too much over the top, but he just stands there. I mean, this is George Costanza. This is who we fell in love with. Easy up for me as one of the, if we had to rank Costanza scenes, this would be near the top for me forever. Sentimental value and everything else. But yeah, easy one up for me is the old the door. Why would he use the door? The window's right there. Unbelievable. Red dot, mind you. Unbelievable. Loved it. First up.
Yeah, great scene there. So absolutely an up all 100%. So thank you, Tony. Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
Incredible. And I love that. I love just, let's throw a bone to set designer here. Drawing a blank on his name. We'll have to edit this part.
Is it Tom Azzari? Is that?
Yeah, Tom Azzari. I mean, I don't want to give him an up, but I'm going to throw him a bone here. I mean, from the Babu stuff to that room with the window, magnificent. And we should give him more ups because he does a fantastic job with the set. Yeah, George in that room, read the New Yorker, wish I could, incredible. And no, I didn't think it was too much with that. I think that was just perfectly done. Sharon is doing his thing there. So many ups. I'm gonna go back to the scene back at Jerry's apartment. When Elaine's up there, I think Elaine's up there, but anyway, I got the train coming through here. But Jerry yelling out the window, "George, how'd you do?" And George yells, 85. What? 85, Jerry, 85. I mean, it's ingrained in my head. And then when he comes up, I mean, hello, Professor, just really drilling her. And then Jerry, I love Jerry's joke. Well, maybe the test with gender bias. Lots of questions about hunting and testicles. I mean, incredible stuff. I mean, Leopold or David, whoever kind of fine-tuned this puppy was unbelievable. So, and then obviously Elaine got so frustrated. That had to be a mistake. Give me another chance. The whole thing, wonderful stuff. Like no dips. I mentioned dips in a lot of other episodes. No dips here. We'll find some on the downs, but these scenes are just boom, 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 like incredible stuff. You felt it. You felt for George. You did. Even though he's cheating, you're rooting for him here. You know what I mean? Because he's living a lie. Obviously, the SAT stuff, the whole thing. But you're pulling for him, and that's just it's a unique thing. We look at all, the Tony Sopranos of the world. You're rooting for the bad guy, if you will. I'm not putting George or I'm not putting him in, Walter White territory or Sopranos here, but you're pulling for Georgie Boy here. So love the 85. That scene forever. Incredible stuff.
Definitely great stuff there. So another terrific scene for an up mention. So unfortunately, that's Tony, you got one more up. What do you got for your second up?
Yeah. So totally agree with that too. I wrote that down. The testicles line's unbelievable. The bias, maybe it's a lot of questions about testicles and hunting. Are you kidding me? 85. And it's funny you mentioned that too, because you don't really feel bad about Elaine getting 85. You feel bad about George getting the 85, even though she's the one who's like, it's on her. That's why she gets mad. But you're right. You're rooting for George in that case. I guess did O'Hara give both his ups already too? So so I guess I'll just go with it then. I mean, Babu, I'll go both. I was only going to give one Babu because I thought O'Hara had an up left, but I think if you want to call Babuing up, you got to do both. You got to do and we talked to him about this again, in front of the show, Brian George. You got to do the. We asked him about that. I asked him specifically about that humming.
They just said, sing something that we don't have to pay royalties for.
Right, it was simple as that, huh?
As simple as that. So I made up some fake Indian,
background music,
Bollywood melody. I don't know what I was doing.
I love it. And then he automatically then switches to the shrimp is stringy, the whole thing there. I mean, come on. I mean, you got both sides of that one. Unbelievable. He's all excited. O'Hara gave the tell your friends line, which Leopold loves. I think it's his favorite line of all time, right?
My favorite line is after Kramer falls all over the place and it's spaghetti sauce everywhere and they run out and poor Babu Butt's just watching them leave the restaurant. He goes, "Tell your friends." And I remember I came up with that on the spot, and one of my dearest friends, you know who Harry Shearer is, comedy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Harry was there that night. He came to because it was one of my episodes, and Harry gave me one of these because he had a line wasn't working. So in a lot of these shows, all week the line, you start out with a script, and then the crew laughs while you rehearse it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then. By the Wednesday comes, they've heard the lines. So you don't start to distrust your own sense of, is it funny anymore? They're not laughing anymore. But anyway, right. The one line that we thought would kill, that was in the place of that line, died for some reason. So we had to run out. The audience is there. And think of another one. I just said, "Tell your friends." Larry says, "Oh, yeah, that's it." And I got a pretty big laugh. Those are the moments as a comedy writer you really feel like it's, do or die. And the audience knows it, which is kind of fun.
But yeah, I mean, if we talk about Babu later on, the visa, maybe the finger pointing gets a little carried away. He becomes kind of his catch there, the bad man stuff. But this is where it all began. And so for that, we have to embrace it and say, this is what brought us Babu into our lives. The ups and the downs with him. It happens again in the visa. Loves Jerry getting the job and then not. But this was the start of it. And I just love the switch. I actually love the dusting around, humming stuff, and then the shrimp is stringy. Unbelievable. Has to be an up. Had to be said. So that's my second up.
Yeah, absolutely. So totally agree there with you, Tony. And unfortunately, that's the two ups from both of you. So we got to go to the downs, which is half the game here. So Chris, what do you find for a down here?
Yeah, I mean, quiet. You shut up. You make me change the restaurant, but nobody comes. You see people, where are the people? I mean, Babu, anyway, you want to tell me Bookman, you want to tell me Lawrence Tierney, you want to tell me, you name it.
Ekman, Briss, yeah, they're all out right there, but Babu's right there for sure.
Babu's right there. I mean, special character, incredible actor, and of course, friend of the show. So here we go. Downs. You know what? I'm going to go... This felt a little gimmicky, especially for season 3. But the Casus Belli lines, I kind of like George. Are you guys talking about me? I like that part of it, but too much Casus Belli. It's just a Latin phrase. It felt like they were just kind of like. It felt more. I feel like that's where Jerry came in to do a little punch up, like kind of a stand-up comedy bit, like just kind of it's a Latin phrase, and it's actually an act or a situation justifying war is the actual definition of it. I did look it up. So it didn't make any sense. I don't know if it's a Latin phrase, but they should have actually, because Elaine's, great IQ. She actually should have explained what that was. I would have enjoyed that. But you kind of just left you hanging. They just kept saying it. Casus Belli. I don't know. It was just, again, a little... Leopold, I don't see doing that again. Maybe that's what Melman influenced as a producer or story editor here. You never know. There was a little bit of a group effort at times. So for me, the Casus Belli stuff, I could have done without that. So that's my first down.
Yeah, well, I think they kept on saying it because whether or not they knew the actual meaning of it, they just like saying it. They felt like it was a fun thing to say, but I think that was what they were going for there. But anyway, all right, yeah, too much of that. Casus Belli is a down. So Chris, over to Tony, over to you. What's your first down?
Yeah, listen, I had it as an up. I love Cass's belly, and I say it all the time. Cass's belly. I just love they both repeat it. I don't know. You're right, Georgia. What are they talking about me? Why must be about you? I don't know. It's hard to find ups. I get it. I mean, my down. I mean, it's hard to find downs. I get it. My down, he might also think is good because that's what happens in these episodes that are so good. I love that Cass's belly stuff. My first down though, and for a great episode, it's kind of more than a line. It's a few seconds. It's a few minutes. It might even be, but it's. And again, I'm nitpicking. I didn't love Kramer getting locked in Jerry's apartment with the jacket thing. Like I just felt like they had to figure out a way for Elaine not to get the test back, and they had this jacket story they've been running with, and I think they just said, well, here we go. I don't know. It just never really played well with me. It's not really much else to say than that. Like, I just feel like it was kind of crammed in. I know Kramer mentions the jacket earlier on when he first goes to the scene O'Hara talked about, and the jacket plays a role throughout the season, if you will. But for me, it was kind of a non-funny way to get him locked in there. It wasn't even funny, really. And I know that Jerry likes to say, like, don't just move a story along and, make it be funny. I don't think this was that funny. Odd predicament for K-Man. Elaine had to get locked in the house, couldn't get the thing some way. And this is what they came up with. Not the best in an otherwise really good episode. So, is it terrible? No, but could it be better? Yes. Mike Rich could have done a million things with Elaine to not get her to get the test handed in. This for me wasn't the best choice. So that's my first down.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Tony. That's an interesting take on that and something I didn't see or think of. So yeah, good down. Chris, over to you. What's your second down?
He's pulling out the locked door thing, but the guy eventually got in and took the jacket, right?
Yeah. We don't see that though, right?
No. Yeah, I didn't mind it. Kramer yelling, "You got to kill me!" Yeah.
But I like Kramer getting the jacket from the landlord. You know that. I like that for sure. Yeah. And bring what does she say?
It all worked
bring
out.
the Danishes.
So yeah, you said down to tough, and I got some like little nitpicky ones here. And you know what? I'm gonna go with the ending was very sitcom-y. Where deciding where to eat. Oh, let's go here. Let's go there. And then Jerry says, what would be great? And then it was like, but up, like watching the finale of Mr. Belvedere or something. You know what I mean? Like it fits so perfectly as a sitcom, which was rare. But I guess to your point, there was still season 3, still working out the kinks. Not many people there, small group, maybe Melman, maybe Charles, Leopold, obviously, and Larry David. So a little bow, which, it was okay. I'm not killing it, but a slight down nonetheless, knowing what we know. So the ending is my second down.
Yeah, and in that same scene, Kramer shows up without a jacket and he's kind of cold and he says he's going to leave and that's where Jerry goes, "Hey, what happened to your jacket?" And Kramer just like, so yeah, obviously Kramer lost his jacket to the guy. So all right, that's your 2 down. So Tony, what's your final down here?
Yeah, he took it right there. I'm going on the fly here, fellas. I only had 2 written down. I figured he might take it, but I didn't know. I only wrote down 2, but I just found another one to throw out here because this episode's so good. I agree. I wrote the same thing. It's just sitcom ending. I know early on, I feel like maybe, like I said, I think the network maybe was on them a little bit to tie these things up more sitcom-y. Who knows? But I agree. It was a little bit sitcom-y at the end. And, but to bring out a new down, I'm going to actually kind of contradict myself, I think, because I had to find something on the fly. And, as much as I loved the door, right, why would I use the door? The window's right there. When George gets busted the second time, he kind of goes back to the well there with the, it's the damnedest thing. I went out the window again. He had a cup of coffee. I mean, I get it. It's not bad. Again, I'm looking for some kind of down here just to spice things up. It's funny, but could George have pulled out another rabbit out of the hat per se? I don't know. They could have given him maybe a different thing there to kind of try his luck, if you will. Because he's caught again, and to go back to the well, shows that he was caught both times. He could have kept that first one alive if he tried a second one different time. Who knows what I'm talking about here? I'm just trying to find another down in an otherwise perfect episode. Because really the ending was my second down. But if I'm going to nitpick, I guess I'll throw that out there. Maybe Georgie Boy could have spun his web there, liar man, and come up with something a little better than the same kind of joke to kind of throw her off. But kind of weak, but that's my second down in a great episode, which we'll get to in a second here.
Thank you, Tony. So Chris, your final thoughts and grade for the cafe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't knock George on this one. That was remarkable. And yeah, he kind of gave up at the end there, and that was it. And Dawn Arneman, Monica, was that her name? I think she did a great job. She kind of reminded me. I like these kind of girlfriends, like him not dating.
She reminds you of the Pez dispenser?
Yes.
Yes. Same here.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
They had the same.
And a little bit of the phone message, whatchamacallit, that we had on. Yeah, they're all that. Yeah.
Traditional, wholesome look. I feel like they like George for George, whatever that means. But at the end of the day, his stupidity and his, actually more so his friend's stupidity is his downfall, right? He should have just taken the test. The Elaine screwing up, obviously, because of Kramer, because of this, everything happened. So it's, this is an episode where you're rooting for George. He's the everyman in this one. And we all, I think many of us, these standardized tests put a lot of pressure, and people think I'm smart. I love that beginning. People think I'm smart. I've been lying about my SAT scores for 15 years. I was trying to do the math on that. I guess 15 years. Yeah, maybe he was 18 or whatever when he took it. Who knows? And then I even love back at the apartment. Passing Lettick the test out the window. I mean, you give me a name like Lettick, I'm in. Done. Believable. Relatability. Babu, all time. You talk about Babu singing, 85, gender bias, you're a fascinating man, George Costanza. Listen, bottom line is, all four were on all four cylinders. You had Leopold, you had David. You had all-time Babu. You had a really good girlfriend, right? Disappointed in George, confused by George. Could have ended the episode right there with Elaine out the window. So she crushed it. I can't say a bad thing about Monica either. Cafe is an A+. Season 3 at its best. Sharon is at his best. Leopold, the writing at its best and the acting at its best. I don't know what else you can ask for in a sitcom. All right, the ending, fine. You want to nitpick that a little bit? Have at it. A+.
Yeah, that's a classic, season 3 episode. That's just, knocks it out of the ballpark and is a must watch, for all Seinfeld fans. So I think it's an episode a lot of us can agree on that deserves that type of grade. So Tony, over to you. Your final grade and thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry, hey, I love a good caper. I love that line with Jerry. I love a good caper, he says. I mean, this is, he hit a lot of nails on the head there. You got Leopold, like you said. It's a top 20 episode. I mean, any way you slice it, you can kind of go up and down that line any which way. I mean, lying about his IQ, that's about as George can be. The whole thing there. I gave it down. I shouldn't have even given, really, to be frank, but I had to. There's nothing wrong with this episode. I mean, it's literally perfect to O'Hara's point. All four and all four cylinders, plus Babu, not a lot of fluff, a good girlfriend who just kind of does her thing. sentimental value with George. To me, it's one of George's coming out episodes, the whole window thing. Elaine and Kramer is always great. This is an early Elaine and Kramer, first at cafe, like O'Hara mentioned, with the whole questions, and then back at the thing I gave it down to, but still was great. Obviously, the 85 O'Hara, that's 85, unbelievable. And then he says it, and Jerry laughs at the 85, 85, Jerry, unbelievable. I mean, we can go on and on. It's if this was Babu's only episode, he'd be an all-timer. I mean, he'd be up there, but Bookman and everyone else, like O'Hara said. We bring him back, it almost hurts him. This was so good. Agreed. Top 20 episode has got to be an A+, clean A+, no way around it. This is one of those ones that totally sets the tone for everything that's to come. Still early on enough. But yeah, easy A+ for me, the cafe. Kind of sums up. If you say to me, if someone says I've never seen Seinfeld before, I might give them the cafe. It might be something to wet their whistle and see what they think. Because if they like this, they're going to love the first 5 seasons. So easy A+.
Yeah, well, there you have it, folks. A+ for the cafe. I think that's definitely warranted here, and appreciate you guys breaking down the episode for us. And I hope everybody tunes in for our future episodes. Thank you, and have a good one.